Good day everyone, welcome to my first YouTube fantasy battle report for Warhammer. Today I'm playing my good friend Chris, been playing him for a couple years, and he has brought his Ogres to challenge my Brets in a 22-50 point game. And it was an interesting fight. I was expecting to face his Dark Elves today, but he surprised me, brought his Ogres. So let's start with deployment. Alright, for the Bret deployment on my far left flank, I've got a unit of 17 skirmishing bowmen. Beside them, I've got my fast cavalry, mounted yeomen. Behind them are 9 knights errant, and beside them is my large block of 25 men-at-arms. So most of my peasants on my left flank. Following up on my center and right flanks, I've got a unit of 10 bowmen. You can't really see them in this picture. A trebuchet, 5 Grail Knights, my general on Royal Pegasus, my 2 large blocks of Knights of the Realm with my Battle Standard Bearer, and a unit of 4 Pegasus Knights. Okay, for the Ogre deployment, we've got on, I guess, my far left flank, we've got 3 Yetis. We've got 3 Man-Eaters and his Battle Standard Bearer, his Giant, 3 Bulls, I believe, and with a Butcher. Then we've got 4 Iron Guts and another Butcher, and followed up beside them by 3 Iron Guts. And finally, on my far right, he's got his Tyrant. Strangely enough, he's alone this game. He's never alone. And he's got another 3 bulls. I'm going to come around that forest, I presume, try to get a flank charge on me. And then he's got some trappers, I believe 10 of them. I absolutely hate these guys. I've lost more units to their bottles and knives and sharp stones than I care to admit. So I'm always concerned about them getting in my way, getting in the way of my knights. Since they're skirmishers, they can cause me some problems, especially when they're in a forest. Okay, turn 1, Ogres go first, and everything is just coming at me. Left-hand flank, Yetis moving through the woods, his other units just moving as fast as they can. He wasn't expecting my heavy cavalry, the bulk of it, to be on the right-hand flank, so that, I think, has him concerned. And if you notice, he's going to start to wheel his troops and start to angle them to face that heavy cavalry on the right-hand flank. So hopefully I've got at least one turn where I should be able to hopefully get some combo charges in and deal with his units piecemeal. I know if I don't, I'm going to have some problems. Okay, Bret, turn 1. My fast cavalry have been reduced to two guys. During his shooting phase, his man-eaters unloaded with pistols and just tore right into them. Killed 3 guys. Thankfully they didn't panic. So now I'm just getting in front of his face. I want to hopefully bait him. I know I probably won't. He's too smart for that, but that's basically what I'm going to try to do with these guys. Everything else is basically hanging back, and I'm going to try to drop that giant with bow fire. I don't want to tangle with that guy, at least not right now. Okay, on my far right hand flank, I have flown my Pegasus Knights, so they're out of sight of his 3 Iron Guts and his Tyrant. So hopefully next turn they won't fail their fear checks, and I'll be able to charge something of my choice, hopefully in the flank or rear, to help me out with something. Other than that, I've basically held back with my knight units, moved them up a little bit, so I'm not in his charge range. But next turn, failing any failed fear checks, I should be able to charge anything at my leisure. As for Ogre magic, I didn't cover that, but basically in his phase, his magic fizzled, and he didn't really do anything. I've got 1 damsel, so and a couple scrolls, so she's will hopefully provide enough magic defense for me. Okay, Ogre's turn 2. The giant was reduced to 1 wound last turn through all of the flaming bowfire attacks, so he's still standing, barely though. All his other units just moved straight at me. He did not charge my mounted yeomen, so they're standing there just waiting to be shot to death by the man-eaters. This flank, basically, I've written it off. The peasants are there just to slow up his big units. I'm not expecting much to happen. I know my knights errant really can't deal with those man-eaters in a head-on clash, so whatever happens to all those units, You know, if they can slow him down, then I'm happy with that. On my far right hand flank, again, he's just moving straight at me. Thank goodness the Pegasus Knights have march blocked a couple of his units, so you can see the bulls have moved around that forest, so I know I'm going to have to deal with them shortly. Skirmishers are out there, but thankfully they were march blocked, so they're not in the way of my knights. And I'm actually in a good position. I'm happy with this this battlefield as it is right now, because I know that I've got combo charges on his general and at least one unit of Iron Guts, and my general's in a position to support any of those moves. Okay, Brett turn 2. You can see my mounted yeomen and my far left-hand flank. They're gone. What a surprise. They got shot to death by the man-eaters. That was actually a good thing for me, because it opened up a hole for my knights errant to pivot around and get a charge in against his 3 bulls and his butcher. And I did that because I knew if I charged this giant, he was just going to flee with him. He only had 1 wound left, and if I charged the man-eaters as a redirect frontally, the knights errant, they're not going to do much. They're going to bounce off probably and just get butchered. So the only real option I had to get them out of the way was to charge into those bulls, and I was happy to do that. I was really surprised he didn't flee. I probably would have done that if I were him, but in any case he didn't. So unless I get rubber lance syndrome, hopefully the knights errant will bounce right through those guys and slam into his Iron Guts and other butcher. And as far as the peasants on the left-hand flank, I've just brought my my men-at-arms up right behind the knights errant to hopefully redirect those man-eaters in case things go sour for my knights errant. And my bowmen just continue to blast away. They finish off. Actually, all the bowfire in this turn missed the giant, so he's alive yet for another turn, which was kind of frustrating. Okay, on my far right hand flank, passed all my fear checks. Knights of the Realm slam into his tyrant. Really surprised he didn't flee. Don't know how that's going to go. Could go either way, I think. Pegasus Knights into the rear of 3 Iron Guts, and my general into the front. The general's got the virtue of knightly temper, so he's getting an extra attack for every single hit that he gets in close combat. I'm hoping, along with that and his Cuirass of Fortune armor that lets him reroll 1s on wounds, that he's going to get a whole bunch of hits, get some extra hits, do some wounds, obliterate that unit, and allowing everyone to overrun and get themselves out of harm's way, because although you can't see him you can a little bit in the far corners, there's 4 more Iron Guts and a butcher going to just slam into that unit if I don't get him out of the way. And as far as the rest of my knights, my Grail Knights and my Battle Standard Bearer with my other Knights of the Realm, I moved them up just a little bit, but I'm hanging back with them because I'm hoping if everything goes well, I'm going to get a combo charge with those guys into his 4 units of Iron Guts and his butcher and slaughter that unit next turn. So I'm gambling here. I'm ignoring those bulls. You can see them coming around the other side, and I'm just going to see what happens. Okay, so as far as combat, on the starting on the left-hand flank, you can see my Knights Errant. They got extremely lucky charging into that flank of bulls, broke the unit, ran them down, and got themselves out of the way of that giant and the man-eaters, and now they're right into the flank of the 4 Iron Guts and the lone butcher. So that's really good for me to get them out of the way, because they were just toast and they lost that combat and were in front of that giant. You'll also notice that my General and Pegasus Knights have obliterated the 3 Iron Guts and got themselves out of harm's way, so that's another good thing for me. That right-hand flank is looking very, very good. And on the far right, you'll see what isn't there. Oh, his General. He lost combat. I didn't do any wounds on him, and he actually killed 1 knight, but luckily he broke, and Knights ran him down. So Ogre General out of the game. Right-hand flank is solidly in the Bretonians' control. So hopefully next turn I'll be able to get some combo charges in on my turn to help that Knights Errant unit out and destroy that last major combat block in the center with the 4 Iron Guts and the Butcher.